On today's edition of the Rockbridge Report, a commuter train crashed into the station in Hoboken, New Jersey this morning. At least one person has died, and officials say more than 75 people are injured. We'll look at possible causes next.
Lexington's outdated water system may get millions in improvements. More on how the city plans to fund them.
I'm Ford Carson. Fall is in the air, but you might not be able to feel it yet. Your 5-day forecast next.
And we'll have all you need to know about Natural Bridge's new title of State Park. All that and more coming up next on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news for Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to today's edition of the Rockbridge Report. I'm Catherine Young.
And I'm Rosella Gabriel. There's chaos in New Jersey today after a rush hour train crashed into a station in Hoboken. At least one person has died, and officials say more than 100 people are injured. CNN's Kim Hutcherson has the latest.
Emergency responders are on the scene of a deadly transit train crash at a New Jersey station. According to witnesses, the train appeared to barrel through the Hoboken terminal. A passenger described his experience to CNN.
When we got out of the car, I could see that at the front of the train, the roof of the station, essentially collapsed. And there was wires and water sort of running down. The front car was essentially off the rails on the track station, and into the building of the station with the roof sort of collapsed, around it.
Urban search and rescue teams were deployed amid fears there are people trapped in the wreckage.
The windows were all mangled and crashed in that first car, and I think I saw, a person lying down. A man walked past me, holding his arm. I saw some blood. And then I made my way to the front, and there was a woman coming out of the second car, I believe, who had, sort of blood on her face.
The passenger said he didn't remember the train braking as it pulled into the station.
I guess now looking back at it, I think it didn't slow down. I definitely didn't slow down. There was no brakes. All of a sudden, just crashed.
The National Transportation Safety Board has announced it's launching an investigation into the crash. I'm Kim Hutcherson reporting.
Congress overwhelmingly overrode President Barack Obama's veto yesterday, clearing the way for families of September 11th victims to sue Saudi Arabia in U.S. courts. And today, some lawmakers warned that the measure could have unintended ramifications. They warned that it could have a chilling effect on Saudi Arabia's cooperation with the U.S. in fighting terrorism, and it could trigger lawsuits against the U.S. for injuries or deaths possibly caused by American military action. Supporters of the new law said the families of 9/11 victims should be able to pursue justice against Saudi Arabia for its alleged backing of the attackers.
And Democratic vice presidential nominee and Virginia Senator Tim Kaine is hunkered down in Raleigh, North Carolina for 3 days of debate preparations. Kaine will face Republican rival Indiana Governor Mike Pence on Tuesday at Longwood University in Farmville, Virginia for the only vice presidential debate. Kaine says he's been studying Monday's debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump for pointers. He told reporters last week that Tuesday's debate is different from any other because he's going to focus more on Clinton's record than on his own.
The Lexington Police Department is beginning its search for a new police chief this week. City Manager Noah Simon, who is responsible for hiring a replacement, said the position will be advertised in Virginia and nationally. Simon appointed veteran Captain Mark Riley to serve as interim chief in April following the resignation of former Chief Al Thomas. Thomas became the police chief in Charlottesville. Simon said Riley could apply for the chief position, but Riley declined to comment on whether he plans to do so. Lexington is just one of many cities across America facing the consequences of aging and degrading water pipes. But local residents may notice fewer hassles, like frequent water main breaks or poor water pressure, as early as 2017. Reporter Mariah Rashal explains how.
The Lexington City Council voted Monday to borrow up to $2.7 million to improve the way it handles wastewater and drinking water. The borrowing would take place by issuing municipal bonds through the Virginia Resources Authority.
Next spring, next summer, we'll be actually starting to make some improvements to our water and sewer infrastructure, long-awaited and very much needed improvements.
City officials say that without this investment, increased problems with the city's water lines would be inevitable.
You start losing functionality of your system, pressures will get worse, you'll have more pipe bursts in different areas as joints that are meant to last for 70 years are put in service over 100 years. You'll have water quality issues as pipes degrade. You'll have more sewer stoppages, you have more root intrusion, things along that nature.
The money will be targeted at 5 areas of Lexington with water lines that city officials and consultants deemed most in need of construction, reconstruction, and expansion. The costliest project will occur between Route 60 and the 200 block of West Nelson Street, but Martone says the upgrades will save the city money in the long run.
As you fix these lines, improve hydraulic performance, it also reduces the operating costs on the supply side of it as far as getting water to and through our system.
City officials say they hope that these projects, like the one scheduled for here on Nelson Street, will be just the first of many efforts to ensure the safety and quality of Lexington's utilities for years to come. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Mariah Rochelle.
City officials say they hope that this installment of funds will be the first in a series of infrastructure updates in the next several years.
Officials at Hunter Defense Technologies on Monday announced the closing of their Buena Vista branch. The plant focuses on manufacturing shelters used by the military and civilian operations. Plant production will end by the end of this year as production moves to Huntsville, Alabama. More than 80 employees will be laid off through the transition. Coming up next on the Rockbridge Report, Ford Carson will let you know if the clouds are going to stick around for our 5-day forecast.
And after 3 years of negotiations and defaulted loans, Rockbridge County's namesake became a state park on Saturday. Reporter Ellen Kanziger was at the ceremony. And later, Dabney S. Lancaster Culinary students are digging into professional experience in local restaurants. We'll have the full story coming up next on the Rockbridge Report.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Smokey. Only you can prevent wildfires.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Eight, 7, 6, 5.
He's on his way. He doesn't even know that we're here. Is he okay? Please tell me he's okay.
Laura.
Okay, try to call him again.
There's no signal.
Try.
Nothing's working.
Well, just
Everything's down.
This is so bad. He's out there by himself.
Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov.
State and federal officials made history Saturday in a place synonymous with Virginia's storied past. They marked the moment when Natural Bridge became the Commonwealth's 37th state park after more than 200 years of private ownership. Governor Terry McAuliffe and other officials attended the ceremony, and so did our Ellen Kanziger.
Thomas Jefferson called it the most sublime of nature's works. Our third president bought Natural Bridge in 1774 from the King of England. The 215-foot limestone arch remained private property until negotiations for a state park began 3 years ago.
I think Jefferson would be excited. He purchased this property out of appreciation for the natural beauty. He would be very pleased to know that now this will be officially recognized and will get the preservation, protection, and attention that it needs.
Tom Clark established the Virginia Conservation Legacy Fund 3 years ago to buy Natural Bridge. The Roanoke businessman planned to turn the land over to the state for public use after paying back a $9 million state loan. The transition hit a number of speed bumps and missed payments earlier this year. Park attendance declined and the state had to extend the loan. The park will now benefit from state support for marketing and maintenance, which should boost attendance and revenue.
If the present trend continues, I can tell you that our parks will see 9 million visitors this year, generating over $200 million of economic activity.
Officials hope the newest state park will attract more visitors to Rockbridge County and the surrounding area. Natural Bridge will also become an affiliated area of the National Park Service. This rare designation provides additional resources for publicity, educational programs, and preservation. Local Natural Bridge expert Edgar Spencer believes the park's new status will help protect the geological formation's future.
All those 18-wheelers that are now racing down 81 were going right over the bridge. A tremendous amount of vibration would have been created, and so it's remarkable that it's still there.
The state cut cost of admission to Natural Bridge from $20 to $6 for children and $8 for adults. VCLF continues to manage the Natural Bridge Hotel and Caverns as a private business. From Natural Bridge State Park, I'm Ellen Kanzinger with the Rockbridge Report.
To hear Governor McAuliffe's full speech at Natural Bridge, visit our website at rockbridgereport.academic.wlu.edu. It's starting to feel a little more like fall out there, Ford. Tell us more about this weekend's weather.
I'd say it's a little cooler today and rain tomorrow in the forecast, but as we look at today's numbers, we've got a high of 74 and a low of 60. The barometer's at 30.09 inches of mercury and then 83% humidity to make for a bit wetter of a parent's weekend. As we look around the area, a little cooler right here in the southwest as we got a little bit warmer in Stanton, 71, and then rain and thunderstorms, Charlottesville at 76. Looking at the satellite, we've got a wetter system moving up the east coast, going to touch Rockbridge County here and then swirl right around up to the eastern of Virginia and parts of Maryland. And today's 5-day forecast. Starting on Friday, we've got rainier conditions, high of 71, low of 56, and we've got sun the rest of the way through, looking at 75, 77, 77, and 74, moving all the way into Tuesday. So after we get past this weekend, looking at some good conditions so far. Rosella and Catherine, back to you.
Thanks, Ford. Local artists are gathering in the area for the 9th annual Lexington Paint Out. The annual event started last week and concludes tomorrow with a reception at Nelson Fine Arts Gallery on Washington Street. Artist paintings of local vistas as part of the event will go on sale tomorrow night at 5.
Buena Vista reporter Julia Gazelle has the story on how the city might start sharing the road with some interesting vehicles. Buena Vista citizens might soon be seeing golf carts on city streets. City Council members will vote next week on an ordinance that would allow citizens and visitors to use golf carts beyond the golf course. Supporters of the plan believe it will add a cool factor to the community. Buena Vista City Council will vote on the ordinance October 6th.
And coming up after the break, Washington and Lee's women's volleyball is on a 12-game winning streak. Rachel Stone will have the latest on their next match with your locals and national sports.
And Walt Disney Studios is hatching a plan to get you singing Hakuna Matata once again.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your GED.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future and sign up for free classes now at yourged.org.
If you store your guns properly,
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please,
do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
No more pencils, no more books.
No more teachers, dirty looks.
School's out for summer.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools
Here.
like Henry Ford
Do you
High.
need to audio
and now
check again,
they're
or
up
am I good?
18%.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org because great things happen when we live united.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
Welcome back. We've got a lot of general parents in town this weekend, Rachel. Any good games they can catch while they're here?
Well, Washington and Lee football will kick off under the lights tomorrow night at 6:30. This marks the Generals' first conference game of the season with an overall record of 1-2. The Jennies will take on Emory and Henry. On Saturday, parents can catch the women's volleyball team try to continue their 12-game winning streak in a match against Virginia Wesleyan at 11 a.m. Another match will kick off later that day at 3:30. Women's soccer will start at noon on Watt Field as the Generals take on Randolph College, following a strong win yesterday afternoon. Sophomore Allie DiPietro's hat trick helped field hockey earn a 9-0 shutout against Shenandoah last Saturday. Next up, the Generals will face Virginia Wesleyan at 2 p.m. Saturday on the W&L Turf Field. In hopes of continuing its 7-game winning streak, men's soccer will face Hampton-Sydney at 3 p.m. on Saturday, after a 4-0 shutout Tuesday evening against Eastern Mennonite. VMI will take on Mercer University this Saturday in its conference opener. The Keydets kick off at 1:30 on Alumni Memorial Field. SVU will host Wesley College in its third conference game of the season. In national sports, the Washington Redskins could be a little closer to securing trademark protections for the team's name. The Supreme Court agreed today to consider a related trademarks case after a federal appeals court ruled that the law prohibiting offensive trademarks violates the right to free speech. Now, the Redskins are requesting the Supreme Court to consider their case as well. Last year, the Trademark Office concluded the name Redskin is disparaging to Native Americans. Without the trademark, the team could lose millions if it cannot prevent the sale of counterfeit merchandise. Moving on to high school football, Rockbridge County High has yet to bring home a W this season. Allegheny dominated the Wildcats in the homecoming game last Friday, defeating them 49-24. The Wildcats will return to action tomorrow night in a game against Lord Botetourt. That's all for sports. Back to you, Rosella.
Looks like our local teams are heating up as the full season gets going. Thank you, Rachel. And
Disney fans got some good news this week. Animated classic The Lion King will be reimagined and brought back to theaters. The studio's official Twitter account made the announcement on Wednesday. Disney says the studio will reimagine The Lion King in a way similar to The Jungle Book that debuted in April. Walt Disney Studios said it is teaming up with director Jon Favreau, and the new Lion King will include music from the original. The Lion King is one of the biggest animated films of all time, at one point breaking box office records and even winning Academy and Grammy Awards. No release date yet for the new Lion King.
Dabney Lancaster is cooking up ways to get its culinary students out of the classroom and into the professional world. Here's Parker Butler with the story.
They say if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. However, Dabney S. Lancaster students are diving right into the fire to learn what it takes to wear the chef hat. Under the leadership of the Culinary Arts Program head, Philip McManus, the school is looking to provide students with the best education possible, and it needs a little help from the community.
I would like to get more students active, and I would like to get the community more active with our program. We're trying hard to get out and do more things with the Buena Vista, Lexington area. as far as doing more community service work, active with the local markets, even active with the local restaurants. And we're starting to do that now.
Head chef and owner of Southern Inn, George Hugie, understands the need to give work experience to Dabney students, but feels the program could use a bit of tweaking and better pressed to be truly successful.
There aren't many people, there aren't any chefs around that I really know of that are, at any of the Lexington restaurants that have gone to the program and can say, I graduated from Dabney and that's what got me here, and that's really what they need.
McManus, however, thinks the program is better than ever and is continuing to grow. In fact, since the culinary department's start in 2008 at the Rockbridge Regional Center in Buena Vista, McManus estimates nearly 90% of the program's students have been hired after completing their internships.
We're getting calls from all over the place on our students as interns. I think we put out a good product here, and the students are showing that. And I think that's what shows more.
McManus also believes that Lexington's community is a great place to house budding chefs.
It is a small town, but their options are pretty grand as far as restaurants are concerned and working opportunities. You go walk down Main Street, you can find everything from Southern food to sushi to fine dining to anything.
With a continuously developing culinary program, eager students, and a community willing to support these aspiring chefs, the future for Dabney students looks brighter and tastier than ever. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Parker Butler.
Dabney culinary students are required to partake in at least one internship, obtaining 225 hours total.
That's all for today's Rockbridge Report. I'm Catherine Young.
And I'm Rosella Gabrielle. Tune in again next Tuesday for an update at 3 or next Thursday at 4:30, or visit our website at any time at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. Thank you for watching.
Credits rolling over you guys talking, so just...